You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy.
Everybody gather
skies are gray.
Come on in.
You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. So please don't take my sunshine away. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Go Green! Woo! Those two over there are my reason for being such an advocate. I have grandchildren now. I have 16 grandchildren across Canada. And these guys are my reason for being a good grandma, and to understand that my parents were good grandparents, and they showed me how to keep that evolving cycle of life as to why we do what we do, why it's important to plant a garden and be out in the land and be respectful. It's not just about keeping the earth clean, it's a lot of things. So I say miigwech for being able to come here today and to be a part of this. Miigwech, Gitchimanatu.
My name's Janine Gibson. I'm honored to be the new leader of the Green Party of Manitoba. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on this spring day, biting spring day. And Cheryl gave us Cheryl gave us a land acknowledgement and a beautiful blessing, and I'm so grateful for that. We at the Green Party have another land acknowledgement that includes our political system and the negative history of that. So I would like to welcome a soul who has given so much to the Green Party of Manitoba, who is our past president, who served tirelessly. And rather than step all the way back, he stepped to the secretary position, which might be just as demanding. But please welcome to share our Green Party of Manitoba land acknowledgement, our dear hardworking friend, Pearson.
Thank you, and I want to say thank you for the blessing and the previous acknowledgement. I want to further acknowledge that I stand today on the lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Jenny peoples on Treaty 1 territory, as well as the national heartland of the Red River Métis Nation. And further acknowledge that the work of the Green Party of Manitoba extends into Treaties 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10. The Green Party of Manitoba is a participant in a colonial system of governance in a colonial province. In our work as a political party, we must remain conscious both of the role that colonial governments have and continue to play in the marginalization, exploitation, and genocide of Indigenous peoples, but also the role that they must play in facilitating new partnership, growth, reconciliation, and the return of stolen lands. The GPM is a party committed to sustainability, environmental stewardship, human rights, and consensus building. We must ensure that spaces are made for Indigenous leadership and initiatives to thrive, as it is only with such cooperation and leadership and the immense history and knowledge behind it that these initiatives may be successful.
Dennis, I'd like to invite you to come up. Dennis is the president of our council for the Green Party of Manitoba, and also one of the deputy ministers. So Dennis, if you would care to come and give your welcome. We're each giving a bit of a welcome for today. Dennis Biyomi.
Thank you, Janine. I'm happy that everybody's here today to enjoy Earth Day. Mother Earth has given us the weather that we have, no matter what. Sunshine, a little bit of breeze. I'd like everybody to just close your eyes for 15-20 seconds and imagine your most beautiful place in the world. It could be in your backyard, it could be halfway around the world, but think about the most beautiful place that you would go to if you ever had another chance. I'll give you a few seconds to think about it, imagine. And now, by show of hands, How many of you were imagining a place that had water nearby? A lot of hands that just went up. How many of you have imagined trees around? About as many hands. Flowers, beautiful plants. And this is why I asked you to imagine your beautiful place. Because without water, trees, plants, what do we have? What do we have? And that's why we're here celebrating Earth Day. Because these are the most important things in our lives. And so, when you leave here today, think about how you can help. Whether it's joining Vicky and Bill at Hogwatch, whether it's joining folks at CPAWS, at the Sierra Club, at the Manitoba Eco Network, or the Green Party of Manitoba. We can all make a difference, and I encourage you, if you're not yet, get active with organizations like that. Should I invite Donovan to say a few words? Donovan McIntosh is our candidate for Wolseley, kind of taking the baton from our good friend Dave Nickers. And I encourage you to welcome Donovan to the stage. Donovan?
Hi everyone. Yeah, well, I am the Wolseley candidate, but I really do want to speak, at least here, to my position within the Manitoba Young Greens. It's kind of funny. For the past a lot of weeks, the wonderful folks at Friday for Future Manitoba have been going out every single week in front of the legislature, rain or shine, blizzard, whatever. Standing out there protesting, standing up for our rights to live on a healthy planet, effectively. And yesterday, being Earth Day, we had the privilege of having a grade 5 class from Balmoral Hall come and join us. And that kind of brought me back to kind of my origins with this. Saving this planet and the utter being terrified over it has kind of been a running theme in my life since I was about probably 6 years old. And it was kind of, what's the word for it? It's a weird, on one hand, this planet is beautiful and I appreciate all of it, and there's so much hope, and I see so many people here, and I see so many people doing so much good, and I am excited to be part of it. I'm proud to be part of it. But there's always this sense of melancholy. There's always a sense of, and even within these young grade 5s, they're happy to be there. They are excited. They bring a ton of this amazing young energy. But there's always kind of this overtone of, why the hell are we having to deal with this? It has been about 125 years now. This is ridiculous. I mean, as much as I want to get excited over the beauty of our planet, over the beauty of our neighborhood, which I still think is about one of the best places you could possibly live on Earth, it can be conflicting at times, knowing whether to be terrified, how exactly to feel. But ultimately, coming here today and seeing people in the party really feeling outclassed at times by how much work other people are doing, weirdly enough, makes me feel a lot better about myself, which is, I'm not sure, it gives me a lot to live up to, and obviously there's a lot to live up to with Dave, and I'm just excited to take on the challenge. I am nervous and hopeful, but that's how I've always been. I think that's how I thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Donovan. We're going to have some time for storytelling later. So if anything anyone says sparks a story you want to share, the Green Party is about listening. We do things differently. That's why we don't just have one leader, we have a leadership team. And that's how our policies will be making the kind of impact that we want to make on showing more compassion for one another and for our Mother Earth. And that's through creating teams of folks who can work together to make the changes in our healthcare, in our education, in our politics, in our fairness of distribution, So we don't have our big new banner up yet, but I'm hoping it's going to be up because it talks about how health, ecology, fairness, and care are the foundational values of all the Green Party of Manitoba's policies. So when you support us, whether it's through voting for the Green Party person that's running, helping us find a candidate, because we really want to see as many candidates as possible under the Green banner. So if you know of someone who's brave like Donovan, or brave like Dave, or like me, or Dennis, or Devlin, I think we have 7 people officially registered as candidates already, and we really want to get some more. So even if you only have a few hours to share per month, you could still be a candidate in the upcoming election. And several of us who have run many times are prepared to act as mentors. We're going to be holding Q&A sessions where we can answer questions. If you know of anyone that thinks they would like to be a candidate but they have some questions, please direct them towards Dennis and myself. Our website is greenparty.mb.ca, very easy to remember and go to, greenparty.mb.ca. And there are cards here, our business cards, which you can take so you can get in touch with us to refer anyone who's willing to stand up for the values of health, ecology, fairness, and care. And I will continue to say that the reason that I'm politically active is I have the privilege of working with food producers across Manitoba who work so hard to produce food for others. And when I see the destruction that's happening to the topsoil and the land that they work so hard to preserve, I have to take action. And for me, that is speaking up, whether it's through organizations like Hogwatch Manitoba, who share the torture that's happening to pigs in what's essentially concentration camps around where I live. And people don't understand that when they buy maple leaf pork, they're supporting that kind of, even though they say it's humane, we know that it's not. They're still using gestation crates where the animals can't move around, but we'll get into that later. We want to start off with a celebration. So after a bit of talking, we're going to do some singing. So I have a couple of wonderful musicians here who are just about ready to go. Dave and Bruce. I'm going to do a song written a long time ago by a not well-known guy, Wilbert Harrison. It was a big hit for Canned Heat in 1970. So I don't know how many of you would remember a Canned Heat hit in 1970. Let's work together. And this is my message to all of us that want to see things done with more compassion, both for the earth and for each other and for animals. Compassion all the way along. This extractive democracy, this extractive capitalism is taking too high a price on us. So here's my song. Bruce, are you ready to give me a little introduction? My wonderful musicians, Bruce and Dave. Together we stand, divided we fall. Come on now people, let's get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Yeah, people, because together we stand, every person, woman and man. Play it, boys! Because together we stand, every person, woman and man. Together we stand, divided we fall. Come on now people, let's get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Now people, 'cause together we stand, every man, woman and child. If things go wrong, as they sometimes will, and the road you travel, well, it's all uphill. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we stand, every boy, girl, woman, and man. Let's work together, boys. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we stand, every man, boy, woman, and child. Yes, together we stand, every person, woman, and man. Yes, together we stand, every person, woman, and man. Thank you so much. Thank you for working with the Green Party and coming out to celebrate this beautiful earth with us. Thank you, gentlemen. Dave Graham of Steinbach came all the way from Steinbach. Bruce Ingalls of Wolseley came all the way from Wolseley. Okay, and I don't know if any of you have seen one yet, but an old song written by a fellow who's a fantastic piano player, even though he had no fingers on his left hand, just the thumb, the Red, Red Robin. So hopefully some of you will be singing along with this. When the red, red robin comes bobbing along, there'll be no more sobbing when she starts throbbing her whole sweet song. Wake up, you sleepyhead, get up, get out of bed, cheer up, the sun is red, live, love, laugh and be happy. What if I've been blue? Now I'm walking through fields of flowers. Rain may glisten, but still I listen for hours and hours. I'm just a kid again, doing what I did again, singing a song. When the red, red robin comes bobbing along. Red robin comes bobbing along. There'll be no more sobbing when she starts throbbing her old sweet song. Wake up, you sleepyhead, get up, get out of bed, cheer up, the sun is red, live, love, laugh and be happy. What if I've been blue? Now I'm walking through fields of flowers. Rain may glisten, but still I listen for hours and hours. I'm just a kid again, doing what I did again, singing a song. When the red, red robin comes bob, when the red, red robin comes bob, when the red, red robin bobbing along. So we're going to see those little critters pretty soon. Anybody seen a robin yet? A robin! I have, but I was in Abbotsford, British Columbia when I saw it, so that doesn't really count. But thank you guys, that was fun. An oldie and a goodie. So that message, wake up, that's what the Green Party's calling. We got a climate emergency here, folks. We got to look at how we're growing our food. It's really difficult to grow food when you don't have a stable climate. Okay, so this is another one about paying attention. A Patsy Cline song. You can move around to this one too, get the blood flowing. Stop, look, and listen. The fingers are not moving because they're very cold. So let's send some loving warmth into the fingers of our wonderful musicians. They're doing their best with frozen fingers, frozen digits. We decided not to have the fire. We did get a permit for a sacred fire and we brought the wood, but we thought it was just a tad windy. Yeah. I know cool cat from way down south. He's been traveling all around. This old world is spinning fast. Afraid someday we might run out of gas. If you're traveling that way too, I'll tell you folks what we gotta do. We gotta stop, look and listen. Oh, you don't know what you're missing. Come on, stop, look and listen, for you might be missing kissing. If you're traveling slow, you go a long, long way. Now Farmer Jones, he came to town, saw that bopping all around, learned to do it, there's no doubt. Afraid someday he'll burn his motor out. If you're traveling that way too, I'll tell you folks what we gotta do. We gotta stop, look and listen. Oh, you don't know what you're missing. Come on, stop, look and listen, for we might be missing kissing. If you're traveling slow, we'll go a long, long way. Go, boys! Now stop, look and listen. You might be missing kissing. Come on, stop, look and listen. Oh, you don't know what you're missing. If you're traveling slow, you go a long, long way. Now stop, look and listen. Yeah, stop, look and listen. Please stop, look and listen. Come on, stop, look and listen. If you're traveling slow, you go a long, long way. Oh, stop, 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 stop! So I sing that to CO Silica and the folks that want to put mining shafts down through our drinking water in southeast Manitoba and mine the silica down there. We need the water, we don't so much need the sand, but they're after the profits and don't care if we don't have drinking water, I guess. Okay, and I'm gonna close with this one. Hazel Dickens wrote it when the textile workers went on strike for the 8-hour day, and we've got some workers on strike right now that I'm singing this in solidarity with. So we have the 8-hour day thanks to the largely female textile workers that said, look, if you give us breaks, we're actually going to be more productive. We're actually going to be able to accomplish more. And Green Party says a lot of that too. If we look at where we're spending the money, we're going to be able to be more compassionate and finance these policies. If we start giving it away stop giving it away as subsidies to the oil and gas folks and the people that are bent on making short-term profit for long-term destruction of our beautiful Mother Earth. So Hazel Dickens and the Working Girl Blues, and I dedicate this to all the hard-working volunteers of the Green Party that have been so graciously welcoming to me in my bid to serve on their leadership team. So, okay. 1, 2, 3. I got the early Monday morning working blues. I put on my worn-out, ragged working shoes. Well, the weekend came too short, but I can't choose. When the Lord made the working girl, He made the blues. Yes, I'm tired of working my life away and giving somebody else all of my pay. Well, they get rich on the profit that I lose, and all that I've got are the working girl blues. A little old lady, a working girl blues, and I can't even afford a new pair of shoes. Well, they can live in any old penthouse they choose, and all that I've got are the working girl blues. Now the boss said a raise is due most any day, but I wonder, will my hair be all turned gray? I'll match Dennis then, till he lets that dollar loose and I get my dues. and lose a little bit of these working girl blues. Yes, I'm tired of working my life away and giving somebody else all of my pay. Well, they get rich on the profit that we lose, and all that I've got are the working girl blues. A little old lady, a working girl blues, and I can't even afford a new pair of shoes. Well, they can live in any old penthouse they choose, and all that I've got are the working girl blues. Thank you so much. I don't have the blues anymore because I'm working with a great team at the Green Party of Manitoba. Thank you so much, and in a minute we're going to hear from Hogwatch, Manitoba. And I would like you to join me in welcoming one of my Hogwatch Manitoba colleagues who's been in the fight a long time and has written some beautiful books I hope you'll give a gander to. But please join me in welcoming Bill Massey, Stonewall, Manitoba.
Thank you, Janine. What about that Janine, eh? Wow. A woman of many talents, I have to say. You know, when I first met Janine, she came out to my farm at Gros Isle, and I was meeting with the NDP Ag Critic, and I asked Hogwatch to send somebody out send someone out to represent Hogwatch and speak on a provincial level with this Ag Critic. And they sent out Janine, and it was really interesting because it was just after the last election, and we decided to use Janine's vehicle, and we had to unload all the green signs out of the vehicle before we could get in. But you know, that NDP Ag Critic, he took that pretty good. So my name's Bill Massey. My wife and I have a 12-acre regenerative farm at Gros Isle where we grow food for our family. We have pigs, chickens, sheep. Dorothy's into making wool blankets and spinning and so forth. And we have a beautiful little place. We raise food for our family. Hogwatch is here. Brent Bjorklund, his wife Joanne, Vicki Burns, who's our leader. Brent has brought the commonly referred to stink meters, and I think he might set them up just to show you. We bought those in order to help people whose lives and lifestyles and properties were being damaged by the presence of hog barns close by them. In our case, well, Brent and Joanne have something that's within 200 yards of them. It's really terrible situation. In our case, the barn is 5,000 feet away from us, but it has had as many as 1,437 animal units in it, which for those people that may not know about animal units, that's probably about 25,000 pigs. So the smell can be pretty horrific. So I led our community in a 15-year struggle with this hog barn, which happens to be illegal, and it's illegal in the sense that they have too many hogs in it, and the municipality has not been very cooperative in helping us to maintain that barn at their appropriate level, which is 889 animal units, a mere 15,000 pigs rather than 25,000 pigs. So we struggled for about 15 years with this, until the current government sabotaged our efforts. And when that happened, I joined Hogwatch, and I wrote a book about our experience. I did a little bit of thinking before I decided to accept Janine's invitation to speak. And I thought about what I would like to see, what we would like to see as regenerative farmers in the rural areas of Manitoba. And we'd like to see a provincial government that would limit the sale of farmland to major corporations, both foreign and domestic. This is becoming a major problem in Manitoba, with the price of farmland getting to a point where it will never pay for itself. We want to see a government that will end speculation in farmland by corporations, trust funds, pension plans, and individuals, one of which is our the CPP is investing in land, and this is driving up the price, the cost of farmland to a point where regenerative farmers cannot afford to buy it. We want to see a government that will require a humane treatment of animals being raised for food, and will curtail the pollution being caused by industrial farming. We raise pigs at home. This year I'm going to have 3. They lead a wonderful life all summer, and the pork, I will say without any qualification, is the best you'll ever taste, and probably the healthiest as well. We want to see a government that will assist families to start smaller regenerative farms. This will in turn revitalize rural communities, move this province towards food sovereignty, and make agriculture an important participant in addressing the climate crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. We share those values that you just articulated so well in our agriculture policy. And now we have Brent. Brent Bjorklund's going to come and show you our fancy dancy stink meters and talk a little bit about why and how we have to use them. Please join me in welcoming Brent.
Hi. I don't have any real experience public speaking, so forgive me. Good to start on a small.
Just speak into the mic.
Okay. So these are measuring in parts per billion, not parts per million, the hydrogen sulfide that comes off of the hog barns. The hydrogen sulfide is only one of the gases that comes off, but it's the one that you smell the most. So there's volatile organic compounds. There's nitrous oxide is another big one that comes off of the barns. But the ones that really concern us today, of course, is the methane that comes off. And we can measure this methane with sensors, and we can see it coming off. So there's new evidence coming on all the time about the methane that comes from these types of barns. I just really want to emphasize that it doesn't have to, it's the system. You have to understand how hog barns work. Hog barns, the pigs stand on concrete slotted floors, and the manure goes down into the pit, and the animals stand on the pit. Well, that manure sits there and it anaerobically decomposes, and that's what releases the poisonous gases. And that's why a hog barn, if you look at it, you won't be able to get too close, and don't go too close either. but there's powerful fans all the way around the outside of the building. And what that's doing is it's forcing the noxious gases out to keep the pigs from dying. Right? And then the air intake comes in. So then depending on the type of barn and the system, they'll pump the slurry, because it's a liquid manure slurry, and it pumps it into a pit. And then from the pit, it gets distributed after a while. They're not allowed to do it in the winter anymore, they used to, but it gets distributed onto the land. And I could talk about it for hours of the details of it, but basically for most of the manure, it's a hose that goes to your tractor, and then there's an implement where it injects it. There's 3 main implementation systems, and and it squirts it into the ground and then covers it back up again. About 30% of it is broadcasted from a tanker through the air and then onto the ground, but it really doesn't make much difference because liquid slurry manure will leach into the waterways. There's tons of proof of it. You know, they've been saying that it hasn't, but they're not able to get away with that anymore. The research is overwhelming, and things are changing already in Europe, and they're changing already everywhere, and this system is going to be stopped. This liquid manure slurry system is the thing that you got to know. It's got to go. It's got to go. It's bad for the animals. It's bad for the water. It's bad for the air. It's bad for everything. And if we could switch back to compost bedded systems, there'd be no leaching going into the water. There would be no air pollution for the neighbors. There would be no need for antibiotics for disease prevention and for growth. You don't need any of that. And they're doing it right now in Denmark, and they're doing it all over the world, and there's thousands of these new barns, and the system is there and it's proven. Why isn't it done anywhere in North America? Well, you know why. Because the governments are believing the myths that have been imposed on them by the corporations for years and years. These consolidated giant agro corporations are this myth that it's a family farm, this myth that we need to feed the world, this myth that we have to only have industrial agriculture, that we can't feed and we can't in a profitable way have small local farms feeding people. Well, it's all bullshit, and you know it is. And anyone that knows anything knows that it's just a load of malarkey, and we have to get the message out. So when you see things like Manitoba Pork and they're advertising 14,000 jobs in Manitoba, that's a lie. It's total bullshit. There's nowhere near 14,000 jobs, and we know it, and we've been fighting for ages to get rid of that crap. And even complaints to the Competition Commission and everything, and they won't pull it off. You've been using that same lie, even though there's economist studies showing that there's nowhere near 5,000 jobs in the whole thing. They still won't remove it because they don't have to. And I'll explain that in a second. But anyways, hydrogen sulfide and ammonia, because CH4 and H2S. Don't get me excited.
It's great.
All right,
You're doing great, Brad. You're doing great.
You know, these corporations like Manitoba Pork, who's promoting, you know, they call themselves, you know, they're representatives of farmers, but really what they're representing is Sharon Pokhand, which is a company out of Thailand, which owns, well, they own 51% of it. It used to be High Life, but now it's controlled by Sharon Pokhand. And then you got Maple Leaf. So these are big major corporations with global presences, and they have operations all over the world, including China. And that's what Manitoba Pork's, that's what pays their bills. That's what they represent. They don't represent local farmers. So one of the things they do is they try to control the research. In the U of W doesn't do a lot of agricultural research, but U of M does. If you look at the buildings and stuff, they have most of the big corporation names on them, but the research is never really applied to what we want to see, and they don't want to talk about hog barns because it's too important. Like, this is a $1.7 billion industry. You know, this is very powerful industry. The U of M used to say that less than 1% of the phosphorus that goes into Lake Winnipeg came from hogs. They used to say that. Well, we at Hog Watch got them to pull that off of the Manitoba Pork website because it's a lie. We know that it's got to be somewhere around 14% reasonably. So there's all kinds of things that we do accomplish, and I guess the main thing before I get too off track, what I wanted to say is you guys are like the real activist people here. You're out here in the cold. There's almost no one, you know, like you guys every one of you represents probably 10,000 people.
Yes.
Because you know, most people, they either don't have time or the money or the energy, or they just feel so frustrated they give up. But you've got to realize that you guys, for every time you do that, you know, you guys are representing thousands of people. If you vote, you know, you're representing quite a few people, because a lot of people don't vote. But what I want to say is that as a my background is finance. And when I see something like the Silica Sands project, one of the first things I do is go look, who are these corporate heads and who do they give money to? That's what I look at. Well, you would be surprised that those PCs have to work like hell for every cent they get. Even very wealthy people and the corporations that they own are going to make millions of dollars off of these rule changes that help them set up these deals. They have to, the PC guys have to fight like hell, even to get $1,000 or $2,000 out of a rich guy for a campaign contribution, right? Like for them, that's like a cup of coffee, right? A couple of $1,000, that's nothing. You know, you spend that on a cup of coffee if you're a wealthy person in Manitoba. But what I'm getting at is people that actually work inside political parties and donate money, you amplify your voice thousands of times. So here's how it works. In Manitoba, Canada, the first $400 that you contribute, you get 75% of that back. So if you wait till like the end of December of each year, you put your $400 in 2 or 3 months, you're gonna get $300 back, even if you have no income, right? So what I'm saying to you is, if you donate to a political party, you're a rare beast. There's almost no one that does that, right? But you don't even pay for it yourself, the government's paying for it. Now, this system is wrong. It's wrong because poor people can't use it. Like if you don't even have enough money to buy your shoes, how are you gonna come up with $400, even if it's only for a few months? So what it should be is like democracy dollars. I don't know if that's part of your mandate, but it should be.
We'll consider it.
Yeah, it should be. It's an Andrew Yang idea. I don't know, he probably got it off somebody else. But everybody would get $100 and it just expires every year and you don't have to come up with any money yourself. And then you can give that to the political party. That would be the best system, but we don't have that. But we're very lucky that we do have this $400. First $400 you put in, 75% rebate. So you're only losing the money in the first year and only for a few months. And let me tell you, I'll be honest with you, I am working in the Liberal Party, which by the way supports a minimum income. But the Liberal Party is way far right from what I would like to see them do. I'd like to see them move over here, okay? The Green Party has all the cool policies that I really like.
Yes.
So, I be a part of the Liberal Party, I give them my $400, I go to the AGM, I put resolutions out, just like the Liberal Youth did. They put out a resolution for minimum income and I voted for it and I got it passed with everyone else. So we can make influential decisions even for middle of the road parties. If you're really, really brave and you're willing to, you know, take a lot of abuse, you could actually join the Conservative Party. Good luck with you.
You're not willing to be that abused.
Yeah, that would be pretty terrible.
No,
but
join the Green Party. Donate to the Green Party.
yeah, just think of what, you know, the mandate is already there, the action is there, and if you give them some money, it's huge, and it's not even, like I said, it's 75% not your money. So I really encourage everyone to take advantage of that. Like I said, how it works, end of the year, put the money in, do your taxes, you get it right back, even if you have no income. All right?
Okay.
So that was the main thing, that if you do that, it's like being 100,000 people.
Woo.
Seriously. Because like I said, even very wealthy people, they won't do it. They're so cheap. That's why they're wealthy, I guess. All right, so anybody have any questions about stink meters or any financial questions? What's that? Yeah, stink meters. This is measuring gases off of anything that produces, like any liquid slurry manure system.
And in Manitoba, that's mostly hog factories. We don't call them hog barns, we call them hog factories, because that's what they are. So if you have any questions, thank you so much, Brent. I can't believe he said he wasn't a public speaker. I think that was a great job. Thanks so much, Brent. And thanks for your work in solidarity with the rural folks, because they need it. A lot of them are just feeling abandoned while industry does, government says, come on in, build these hog factories. No, it's not the 8 million hogs that are alive in Manitoba at any one time that's causing the eutrophication in Lake Winnipeg. It's the seagulls. It's not the hogs. Anyway, the Green Party's about speaking truth to power. So thank you for standing here on this rather cold spring day, because we are speaking truth to power. Now, I was going to see if Dave would like to do another little set for us, some more music to keep us bopping. Well, Marie has had to go and warm up in her vehicle, so she's not quite handy yet. We'll have to get her on deck. Her poetry books are still there if you want to take a look. Her book, Misqua Good, was published. I believe it's her 4th book of poetry. She has other works, essays and things published as well, for her mother who disappeared when Marie was 9. So we're honoring, and even though this is a day of celebration, we're honoring missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, because this is a serious issue in our lives these days, and the Green Party stands for social justice, social responsibility, environmental responsibility, and fiscal responsibility all at the same time. So I really love that Brent was encouraging people to donate to the Green Party. Well, he said any party, but I'm going to put a spin on it. And I'm going to say, donate green, and you can get 3/4 of it back, and that has an amplifying effect. So thank you for those that already do. Thank you to all the volunteers. Oh, yes. And Kirsten, as ever, on top of it with our beautiful new donate signs. And so you can send an e-transfer. Our website, greenparty.mb.ca, very easy to go through there. We do accept e-transfers. So thank you for this. And these are available if you want to scan with your phones. Don't hesitate to take a card. We've got some information from Fairvote Canada. We haven't put them out because they'll blow in the wind. And we don't want to do that. I don't want to be singing how many people does it take to pick up the cards that are blowing in the wind? So I won't do that one, but please do help yourself. So while Dave gets himself together for a next set, anybody else want to share? I think we have a new table coming up. Did you want to talk a little bit about what you're sharing?
I will, yeah.
Because the Green Party believes in storytelling and sharing our messages together. So thank you so much for joining us today. Please introduce yourself and speak to the group.
Lovely music. I'm Holly. I was invited here to kind of represent some green stuff. In the Exchange District, I have a private community center that really offers a lot of stuff that's alternative. Like my background's community development, and how that runs kind of blurs into what we're all doing here. And then in the space there's an eco-library, and it's super, super lovely. Lots of people should know about it. It's a local historian and archivist, and I guess he's affiliated with the Green Party, Veer Hunt Scott. So you can come learn about it when I'm set up.
Yes.
Yeah, we have it. It's all organized, and there's a website in the making. Yeah.
So great to hear.
And I have free magnets. Come take some magnets, or donate magnets, and we'll give donations to them.
Okay, thanks so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. My name is Devlin Hinchy, and I'm the chair of the Campaign Planning Committee. One of the things we're focusing on is trying to entice and encourage anybody that wants to get more involved in any way. Would be a great thing is we're looking for candidates, official agents, and really anyone that's looking to try and make a difference in the upcoming election. So if you're interested in knowing more, you can contact us through the Green Party website. It's probably the easiest place to find our communication information. So thank you very much for coming out.
Devlin's also our Rossmere candidate.
Oh yes, Rossmere candidate. I should say that as well.
Well, hi, my name's David Graham. Janine is my friend, and I'm here to support her. And I'm here with the Green Party Manitoba. I became a member, and even though I'm not really crazy about politics at all, I'm more of a political rainbow, if you ask me.
Let me pick this up so you don't have to.
No, it's fine. It's all right.
You're gonna sing it too?
I'm gonna start by playing. Fortunately, I'm the sound guy too.
You were here because you're multi-talented.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, I'll pick it up just to make you happy.
Thank you. I care for your back. He brings me wood, so
I do
really
deal with
care for his
firewood.
back to stay healthy.
But I was gonna joke that I'm in the deforestation industry.
Oh, don't say that, man.
Because the trees grow back anyway. So this is I wrote a bunch of guitar songs like 10 years ago, and so this one, this is sort of like my own land acknowledgement. It's just like prairies are beautiful. So I'm gonna play a song about how beautiful the prairies look, and it's just a song that I made when I went camping with my mom for like a week when I was 26. I call this song Rippling Grass. Thank you. I have another song called The Journey of the Banana. It's quite literally about how far bananas have to go to get here. And I named it after I wrote it, and it's become a bit of a medley. So at home, if I'm sitting with my children and we give thanks for the food, like something like a banana or like the pasta or whatever, we talk about all the different steps and the processes. And I think one of the missing pieces of this conversation is how we're all focused on problems and solutions, but then in the middle, people are caught in the crossfire. And so, yeah, the hog barns, that's bad, and like our industrial agriculture is bad. I'm still grateful for the food that I eat. And that puts us in an awkward place as people, because we want a system to change, but we love each other as people. So we eat bananas and we eat like pasta made from wheat that's been sprayed and stuff. Like, not everyone can afford all organic all the time. And I think we speak of ideals often, but let's just remember to treat people like people, even if, especially if they're across the aisle from us. I think that's the most important thing that I've noticed about politics, is that people need to, like, sometimes just drop the game and like go dancing, you know? I love how Janine gets up here and sings, and if she, you know, I want to see her in the Legislative Assembly singing away, because if there's one place that we need to see that happening, it's down there. Like, let's have a little more fun and put some smiles on our faces, and maybe we'll like collaborate and come up with solutions better that way. Who knows? So bananas, they come from a long ways away, and they go by boat and by truck and in fridges and wherever to the grocery store. And so here's my musical depiction of a banana. That's the banana, yeah. It made it to your lunch bag.
Sounds like a peaceful journey anyway. That was a peaceful song.
Sort of a bumpy ride. Yeah, food. It's unfortunate that food gets weaponized, and yeah. So we're forced to ask questions sometimes, and here's a question that I've asked. I'm sure that we've all asked, and you'll hear it right at the beginning of the song. I just call it "Why."
starving when there is enough food for all to eat. A simple life is all I need. I have got no use for greed. I shall be a warrior for all without the choice. This be the battle that I choose, for I have a voice. Why is a question to ask at anything at all? So tell me why we spend our time at the shopping mall. A great social beast we are. Talk to your neighbor instead. Get the problem off your mind. Say what is on your head. Let there be enough for every soul. Everybody deserves to have control over where their next meal is coming from. Come back eating, for we all need you. Everybody deserves to have control. I hang my head in shame, and I cry for no lost cause. This be me blind, I am a warrior for the living cause. Yes, I cry, the man I am with nothing left to gain but recognition as somebody walking on two legs. Let there be enough for every soul. Everybody deserves to have control over where their next meal is coming from. Come back eating, for we all need you. Everybody deserves to have control. Life is your right, put your fist up and fight for good, peaceful justice. Give the government your disrespect. Life is your right, put your fist up and fight for good, peaceful justice. Give the government your disrespect. Respect. Respect. Let there be enough for every soul. Everybody deserves to have control over where their next meal is coming from. Come back eating, for we all need you. Everybody deserves to have control. Government, give up your games of mind control. Do we know where our food is coming from? Come back eating, for we all need you. Everybody deserves to have control.
Thanks. Yeah, I guess that came from more of like an angry place of just questioning sort of the systems that are in place in the world, and I don't know. You know, I think we all have to deal with these issues. So I'll finish by just singing sort of a hopeful song, and yeah, because it gets a little depressing sometimes. lots of problems out there, but it's like you don't hear politics as being a place where people go to celebrate.
But we do.
It's a place where you go to solve problems, I guess. Like, you know, that's whatever happens in that world. I just hope that the leaders do a good job. They have their job. I've got mine. So this one's called Cucumber Salad.
We are all children in need of love. We need to stand when we are picked up. Look all around you, say hello to the day. Everything will be okay. Swim in the ocean, play out as long as you'd like. While the sharks are close by, just don't die. Anytime, sooner or later, when I go, erase all memories it up with all of your friends until the bitter end.
So I hope you all feel a little warmer. Maybe you moved around a bit. And thank you all.
Great, I'm glad to see people are helping themselves to the hot cocoa. It is organic cocoa produced by a cooperative. Coco Camino is a wonderful co-op out of Ottawa. They work with Indigenous cocoa producers. It's all fair trade and organic, because we think every vote you spend on food, you're voting for a different kind of food system. So I've been able to make my living as an organic verification officer and ag consultant, helping people get off the chemicals. I used to help women get off drugs, and now I help the farmers get off the chemicals they've been addicted to by the chemical corporations. And now we need to push and lobby our government to make the changes that are so overdue in terms of supporting the kinds of compassion-based food production systems that we need. It's a myth that organic can't feed the world. It's the distribution systems that make it impossible to feed the world. We produce enough. We just insist on having it be treated like commodities, so people have to pay so much for it. But there's a different way, and we have a different vision at the Green Party. So I said this would be a storytelling time. So you've been listening to some music, you've been talking to one another. If there's anyone else that would like to come and tell a story or share a little bit, this is an open mic time. So please, I know Dave Graham was thinking, Dave Nickers was thinking of sharing a bit. I don't know where he got to. No, he's off. Okay, well, Dave Nickers did such a wonderful, he and Laura, his partner Laura, are here, and they worked so hard in the last provincial election. 36% of the vote they got here in Wolseley. Let's give a big round of applause for that hard work that got us 36% of the vote. The highest percentage vote I've ever received is I run provincially in the constituency of La Vérendrye, and the highest I've been able to get is 10%. So I'm hoping to do that again. Maybe I can come in second. Hey, maybe all the people who don't vote will come out to vote, and I'll come in first. And we'll actually put an MLA in the Manitoba legislature, because they sure need some green thinking in there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, it's open. Anybody want to say a few words? You're welcome to come. See, Vicky's saying a few words, but not up here. Oh, good.
I'll just talk about the library more.
Yes, talk about the library again, because Vera Scott was an activist that I've known for many years, and I'm so delighted to hear that his archives live on.
Yes.
So please do. Please introduce yourself.
We have a shared background, though, because he also was agricultural.
Very agricultural, yeah. We spent a lot of time together. Go ahead.
So, little backstory. I feel like that was a miracle that came into my life, because I've been an environmental person my whole life, and the last year of me being a youth, I got the grant position to organize the library, and that was a lot of fun for me. There was a lot of books, and there's also lots of archival stuff. I actually was most excited about the systems change category that is quite vast, and for anyone who's an activist or wants to do some research, that is the category you'd be looking out for. And there's food crisis, there's pollution, there's some of the nasty ones, but then there's also beautiful vintage permaculture and biodynamic farming resources to look at, and all the things that are beyond my generation that's timeless, and this information just has to be applied. So that's where I'm like flagging people down, like come by, like put the information to use. I'm also part of an eco village, and I wanted to share like some good news there, that we did convince our neighbor directly across the road to use another version of fertilizer or whatever, and we celebrated with him by just educating him. It was pretty innocent, but those little impacts, I applaud anyone who can make that little shift from, or have someone's thinking shift by giving them the information. And this is, I said vaguely, in the Exchange District. It's across the road from, or it's right near Market Square. So it's right there, right in the action. We're open on Mondays, and we do host a farmers market as well. So really, if you come anytime Mondays, 12 to 7, we're open. There's lots of fun stuff happening. Open mic at the Cube in the evenings on Monday. So if you like anyone who's excited about saying something important, because they actually are very, very, what's the word? Forgiving and open-minded. So you can go up there and just talk. It's not all music, but I feel like activism face-to-face is one of the most impactful things. I've also toured or canvassed in my day for the Wilderness Committee, but you can't change people's minds as much as you think on the internet, and it's very much impossible to change someone's heart. So in person is the best way to do that. Thank you for hosting. Yeah, and you can come by the table if you want to take a picture of anything. I don't know, have some stuff to share.
Thank you. Thanks, let's thank her.
Now we've got a few other folks here that are candidates, various candidates for the Green Party. Oh, I see Judy Morrow has joined us with her beautiful smile. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Judy.
You have some words to share. Are you ready to speak a little bit about an issue that's close to your heart?
Well, I'll speak it very short.
Okay. Well, thanks to Dave Hansen at Sage Garden Greenhouses and Amy at Prairie Flora, we have plants to share with you for your beautiful garden. So please give a warm welcome to a longtime dear friend of mine, Judy Morrow, who's going to say a few words.
Janine and I worked together in this community so many years ago.
Don't tell them how many years ago, Judy. Don't tell them how long ago.
And we're still enjoying life quite well. I am trying to work on writing a book which has to do with holistic healing in a broad-based way, and that just keeps getting distracted by other issues that come to the front. And in this past month, I guess, a big one hit me very emotionally, and I couldn't not do anything. So I had the privilege of going to City Hall once again. It's the second time I've done it in 2 years, and experiencing, I'll tell you about the issue, but I want to tell you first of all about my respect for our city council members and some of the volunteer people that are on the Human Rights Committee of our city of Winnipeg. And I want to tell you that because, you know, people often, you get stuck and you feel, well, you can't change people's minds. Well, maybe you can't change people's minds, but you can certainly care about people and diversity, because essentially what's environment? It's protecting of the diversity of this planet, the trillions and millions of things that exist in the universe and on this planet that affect us with our bodies, which are a reflection of the universe, because we have trillions of pieces of microbes, of organs, of every kind of organ and organism that is in our bodies. We are trillions of living items in our bodies. And we need to understand how our bodies function in diversity best. Monoculture isn't good for the planet or for our bodies or for that sort of thing. But so I do come from a cultural diversity background, and I'm sure as a Canadian, which we are pretty much maybe third or fourth generation Canadians, we've got a lot of mixed cultures in who we are. You can't look at the skin color of people or any one tribe and make assumptions about them if you're a Canadian, because we live in a diverse global universe, planet, and the city. So what I want to tell you about what I've found in our city council is a level of government that exceeds the expectations of of any government that I can see before me, the provincial and the federal government. And what was put before their Human Rights Committee touched me deeply, because it's an issue that has divided the Jewish community for 5 decades, ever since the division of the land, pretty near since the beginning of the division of the land, where the European Western people decided that they could give the Jewish people a state, and then they decided that Palestine, which was in existence, it had Jews and Palestinians living there, so that would be the perfect state to give to the Jewish people. And of course, if a parent's dealing with kids, you know better than to take sides with one over the other. So anyway, there's a proposal that was passed unanimously through both our provincial legislature and our federal government. I happen to be a member of a Jewish people who have been outcasts from the other Jewish community because they're very politically aware, and they support Palestinians having a right to protection. And this proposal has 7 features. It's called the International, it's IHRA, something like that, and it's really taking away our democratic rights to speak out for an issue of protection of one group of people, and favor another group over that group. Very heavily funded by Israel. The Canadian Jewish Alliance with Israel receives a lot of government funding, and there's no information publicly available about just how much. But that organization has been promoting this definition, which says that essentially the 7 articles say that if you criticize the state of Israel, which is a political body, it's one country, it could be deemed anti-Semitic. So if it's felt to be anti-Semitic, it's not a clear definition. It's not that you have to do a hate crime. You simply have to express a sentiment against the state of Israel. And you could be called, if one member of that other Jewish community that has created an outcast of the community I belong to, says that that's anti-Semitic. So it can result in loss of jobs, academic loss of freedom, and it has around the world. So our provincial government and our federal government passed that unanimously, and after going to the City Hall, now here it's back to my point, and in City Hall they have a procedure that protects every individual's right to respect and to speak on a topic. So I don't care who you are, they greet you. They have a clerk who gives everybody, when you're doing a presentation, 10 minutes to speak and then 2 minutes for questions. So it's not by money, it's not by wealth, it's not by who you are and who you know. You just have to phone the city clerk and send an email and get on their list, and you can speak to this body. So what I experienced there was the first time in Winnipeg's history, as far as my partner who's been around for 50 years in this issue that divides the Jewish community, that the people really had a democratic forum to present to this volunteer body of the Human Rights Committee that our City Hall has created in order to deal with issues of homelessness, which is partly due to displacement of peoples and land and 3rd and 4th generation trauma in our Indigenous communities. So anyway, we all got a chance to speak, 10 minutes basically, and be heard with respect. And as a result of that, this City Council stood head and shoulders above the other bodies of government that passed the proposal to protect the state of Israel, thus creating a very, how would you call that, a double standard? That this is anti-Semitic if you criticize the state of Israel. And of course, Jewish people throughout the world are horrified at what's going on in that state, and so they want the right to speak out to it. So our City Council passed, they rejected that motion, and instead what they did is they made a statement that they want to strengthen the approach to protection of people from anti-Semitism, anti-Indigenous anti-Indigenous people, anti-Islamophobia, and I can't remember the word, but it means like anybody foreign or different from you.
Xenophobia.
Xenophobia. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you. I don't have all the big words, but and anti-black, think of all the antis. Now, I thought that, gee, that's crazy. Why don't we do have a constitution? Why don't we just say we believe in the rights to everybody, like the Constitution says? And then one of my Jewish friends pointed out, well, every form of xenophobia has a different flavor, and sometimes it's good to name those particular brands of racist or bigotry, anti-Christianity, any of those things where we stop respecting each other and we don't live a heart-centered life, which is what our planet needs, and needs in that diversity. So I was just wanting to applaud Marcus Chambers, who is the deputy mayor, and also our mayor, who really has tackled this issue of homelessness. And you think of it as landlessness, I think that we are very lucky, and please go out and protect our Manitoba. I think the next move is we need to start having private conversations with all of our provincial politicians and asking, how could you do this to us? This is a step towards something that you absolutely want to protect, which is, a big word is fascism. I do know that word, but it really means, really we need to have our right to free speech and right to protect the Palestinian people. We need to have that intact. So that was my little issue.
The Green Party does support diversity, and we support freedom, we support human rights, we support free speech, and all of our policies are based on the foundational values of health, ecology, fairness, and care. So I think I was trying to hope to get one of our other candidates, maybe Dave Nickers was thinking he might say a few words. So Dave's the Green candidate that got 36% in this vote. Let's give a rousing hand of applause to Dave Nickers.
Hello. I missed the last few speakers because I was going to warm up. Ooh, it's a cold one today. I guess just green politics, I guess I should speak about. I ran twice in the 2016 and 2019 election, both got 36%, but as in horseshoes, it doesn't count. As opposed to horseshoes, it doesn't count if you're close. You have to actually get more votes than somebody else. So I didn't get to be the MLA, but I'm passing it along to Donovan, who's going to take the baton and go further with it, and I'm happy to see that. I'm still involved with the party. I was doing work on the governance committee and the policy committee, and I'll be helping out with candidates as well. And why green politics? Why are we doing this? I always come back to that. And the bottom line is, I was talking with Vicky earlier. She's still here. I don't know if she is. But the people at the legislature who get those seats get to make all the laws and spend our money. So as much as politics can get you down, and it can be a bit of a drag, or it can be a bit cynical and all those negative things, it's still important. So that's why I encourage you all, everybody here should sign up as a candidate. So that's a requirement. It's not a question. It's a press gang. I'm pressing you into service. No, I invite you all to sign up as candidates. We've got a few new possible candidates here as well, and thank you for putting yourselves forward. It's not an easy job if you run a full campaign, but we need people to run in every single riding, so that not only can we offer every Manitoban the opportunity to vote green, we can also get in the leadership debates, because Janine needs to be up on the TV, just like James did in the last several elections, and get to talk to those leaders directly and the public directly, because that really does matter, being in front of the public that way. And I do want to say one more thing before I get off the stage. I want to thank my campaign team, of course, first and last, my partner Laura, who made food that was popular across the country. Her cooking is known across Canada. Paul Graham here behind the camera eternally had helped a lot with my campaign as well. A lot of people here have also done canvassing and helped me. We had 137 volunteers in our campaign in Wolseley last time, and a lot of them are from out of town too. So there's too numerous to mention all the people who helped. So thank you all for that time. I enjoyed myself. It was pretty stressful, but getting that many people out to vote and inspiring other Greens to run was worth it. So again, I invite you to sign up. Even if you can't be a candidate, you could help out. So thanks.
Thanks, Dave. Micah? Yeah. Tag, you're it, man.
Hello. Hey everybody, my name is Micah, and I am hoping to be the candidate for the Notre Dame riding. I've been involved in federal politics for a few years, working with the federal Greens, as well as some other things that I've been doing on the side. And I feel like one of the biggest issues for me right now is the human rights issues that we have in this province. Canada is a signee of the UN Declaration of Human Rights, and we're not living up to that. And I believe that we have the people here in this province that we can actually make these changes. The PCs have, sorry, the PCs have been cutting the Human Rights Commission. They've been imposing stricter rules on what can be awarded to victims, and that's not okay. If we have Greens in the legislature, we can change these things. We can make sure that we have fully funded boards. We can make sure that our labor board is working the way it's supposed to, and we can make sure that our other systems that are involved with everyday people, workers' compensation, the right to organize, all these things are not infringed upon, and that we can allow more people to be involved in this economy as a whole. So that's all I've got to say right now, guys, but thank you very much.
So yes, that's one of the skills that new candidates like Micah need, is to get practice speaking to groups. We were hoping that we'd have a slightly larger crowd here, but we have a lot of heartfelt, dedicated folks here today that are working for a change in the way we treat each other, a change in politics. Now I'd like to do a last call. Anyone else like to take the mic and tell a story of why you're a Green? Pearson, excellent. Pearson Montgomery, everybody, our council secretary.
Among other things, you know. Hi! You know, apparently I didn't get enough time up at the mic at the AGM. 6-7 hours of that apparently wasn't enough for me. But yeah, my name's Pearson Singville Montgomery. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm very happily now no longer president, but secretary of the Green Party of Manitoba, and incidentally, also technically secretary of the Young Greens of Manitoba, which I want to thank Donovan for giving the shout out to earlier. Donovan, of course, is our one of our co-chairs of the Young Greens of Manitoba. And I do want to start just by talking about the Young Greens. That's one of the things that I've been most involved with as a member of the Green Party of Manitoba. When I first got involved, it was, of course, with Dave's amazing 2019 election campaign in Wolseley. And I had heard that he had a really solid chance, and he did. And I wanted to be a part of that movement. And really, I was inspired by just the community that there was in the party, in the campaign, and how welcoming it was, and how great it was to feel like I had a kind of a political family, sort of, so to speak. People that shared my values, but were also really open to learning and listening to others, and to finding the, not necessarily the middle road, but the best path forward, regardless of whose idea it was. So, you know, I got involved at the 2019 AGM, and that was you know, at that time I was the only youth member of the party, because back then youth membership cost $5, which was half of the $10 adult membership fee. And I kind of came to realize that most young people don't have disposable incomes or credit cards or other things that allow them to buy membership online. And as I've learned in the years since, through my experience as an official agent and such, you know, you can't actually have a parent pay your membership fee because it would be a weird sort of breaking contribution laws, because you have to contribute from your own accounts. So I, you know, at that AGM, amazing person named Brianne Lamoureux put forward some motions to have a youth representative on council among some other regional representatives. And being the only youth representative, or being the only youth member, I was asked to do that, and I very happily accepted. And from there, I made an effort to get the free youth membership, which has been very successful. At one point, we had almost 50 youth members. And for a party that hovers around 200, that's a pretty good number. I would very much like to see that grow. I'd like to see our party in the thousands of members and our youth members in the hundreds. And I think that's very achievable with the right messaging and the right marketing and the right kinds of outreach. And that really is what I'd like to see us do. Is I think that every young person deserves a voice in our systems and in our politics and in their communities. And what I'd like to see us do is really try and reach across the board. Something I've done. I've been very heavily involved in the Youth Parliament of Manitoba, which is a non-partisan group, but it's also a multi-partisan group in that there's members of every political party there that come and somehow find a way to get along and come up with good ideas with each other. And I'd really like to see that a lot more in politics. And you see that with young folks, is a lot of us have friends across the party lines, more so than I often see among older folks. So I think it's important that we find a way to work together. You know, I've been talking to my NDP friends and my Liberal friends, and even my one or two conservative friends, you know, trying to, yes, trying to, you know, organize events. And really the big thing is get youth a voice, get youth to vote, lower the voting age, you know, put forward youth first issues and issues that are important to youth, among other people, like equality and equity and, you know, preserving our planet for the next generation so that Gen Z isn't the last. And, you know, a lot of other things. Fighting for our future, and youth deserve a voice in fighting for our future. So, last but not least, I do just want to say we're hoping to get 20 or more young people, and that's in our party, that's 30 and under, to be candidates in the next election for the Green Party of Manitoba. I would like to formally challenge, or not formally, informally, and maybe future formally challenge the other parties to do the same. I've been quietly challenging them to make their youth membership free because it's been successful for us. And I do truly believe that if a young person isn't green, they should be able to get involved with another party if that's where they belong. But unfortunately, that's not the case. The PCs don't even have a youth wing, which is really shows where their priorities are. So in any case, for those young folks in the park today, even if you're under 12, there's lots of ways we can get you involved. You know, or if you're over 12, you can become a member, and we have lots of things, business cards and such with codes for you to scan and become a member. Membership is free, 12 to 30, and we're hoping to have a lot more events and meetings and get-togethers in the coming months and weeks to make sure that young people do have a voice in our party and in politics in Manitoba more broadly. So yeah, thank you so much, and happy Earth Day, I guess. Expected to go for.
Yes, Pearson was inspired. Thank you so much, Pearson. Well said. Yes, a very happy Earth Day to everyone. Thank you so much. We're all shaking in our boots, so we're going to pack it up now. But thank you so much for coming down. And we'll just I'll just close on this tribute to what we're all trying to achieve here. It's a traditional song written in the 1850s, I think it was 1854, and it's sad that it is as poignantly true today as it was when it was written. Let us pause in life's pleasures and count its many tears as we all sup sorrow with the poor. There's a voice that will echo forever in my ears. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis a song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. As we seek mirth and beauty and music bright and gay, there are frail forms fainting by the door. Though their voices are silent, their haunting looks do say, oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis a song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. Thank you for making a difference. Thank you for supporting the Green Party of Manitoba. You matter. We matter. Happy Earth Day, everybody.